Welcome again to the Genuine Ginger Experience. I am your host, Mackenzie Quintana, and on this podcast, I share you how to go from being surface level happy to living a life you truly love. Hi, how are you? I hope that you're having a fabulous day, or that you had a fabulous day, or whatever time it is that you're just fabulous. I recorded the last episode last night, actually, when my whole house was sleeping, and now it is the afternoon, and all four of my children are home. So there's probably going to be background music, background noise happening. So that's just life, and I'll probably get interrupted, and that's life. So let's do this. So at the end of the last episode, I was sharing that like part of what helped me allow myself to grow was accepting myself where I was, and like loving myself where I was. And I planned to just kind of keep moving forward into like the next part of my journey. And then last night afterwards, I went to bed, and I still laid in bed for like ever, just thinking about like how excited I was that I had finally launched my podcast and finally recorded my first episode. And then I was like already like thinking of like, okay, the next one I'm going to say this and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wait, no, I can't just keep moving forward. Like, yes, I want to share my journey with you, but I also want to like help you experience the same growth that I had and the same changes that I've had. And so like, I don't want to just take you on this journey. Like, I want you to have this journey yourself if that's, something that you're interested in. So we're going to slow down here, and I'm going to do my best to help you realize that you are freaking amazing right now. So like I said, I grew up in religion. I am still religious. So I was taught from like a very young age about my worth, and that I am a daughter of God, and that I have a great purpose on this earth and in this life, and that my purpose is, to just become the best version of me, and that I have divinity within me and all these things. But like, when you're like a little kid and, your parents tell you something and you're just like, yeah, whatever, sure. And then you hear it from someone else, or like you hear it on TV or something, and you're like, oh my gosh. And then your parents are like, oh my gosh, that's what I've been trying to tell you this whole time. I feel like kind of the same thing happened to me, where like I grew up hearing all of those things, and like I had moments where I really felt that, and I felt the truth of that. But I feel like for the most part, it was just kind of like, yeah. Like, that's what, my church leaders say, and that's what my parents say, and the scriptures say. And but like, it wasn't until I heard it from like an outside source that had nothing to do with religion that I was like, oh, I really am pretty great. So like I shared, the outside source was this dressing your truth. And I'm not going to get like super into that like specific thing, because if you want to learn more about that, you can go check that out. But I like the main part that like really influenced me was just realizing like all of these pieces and these attributes that I had were like, a lot of them I saw as like weaknesses, and they were actually really beautiful gifts. And like, and like I said last time, like a lot of it was just like, oh, and like, I'm just different. Like, and different doesn't equal wrong or bad or not as good. And so like for example, I remember, after I kind of started learning about this, we were living in Mexico at the time, and my in-laws also lived in Mexico, and my mother-in-law and I have a birthday just the day after each other. So we were going to go out to eat, and it was on my birthday, but we were celebrating both of our birthdays, and we were like driving to their house, and they were just like going to meet us at the restaurant. So I guess we weren't driving to their house, but we were driving to the town where they lived, and we were going to meet them at the restaurant, and like they told me to choose. And like the whole way there, I was just like, well, I don't know, like we could go here, but we could go here. And like, not necessarily saying it out loud, but like in my mind, it was like, well, I want to go here, but like maybe she doesn't want to go there. Maybe, they had this in mind. And so then like, if I say that I want to go there, then they're going to be like not wanting to go there, relatable. I don't know. Do any of you have these dialogues in your brain? And so my husband is driving, and he's like, I need to know where we're going. And I'm like, well, we could go here, but I don't know about this. And he's just like, just decide, just do, like, just decide, what do you want to do? And before, and like, I love my husband, you know, he's great. I'm not like trying to throw him under the bus here or whatever. I know he was just trying to, like, he needed to know where to drive the car, right? But like before, I would have felt like pressured and felt like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just freaking make a decision? But because I had been learning these things that I had learned about myself through this like course, I learned that, like, actually I am just very aware and very like concerned about the people around me, and I want everyone to feel comfortable and okay. And that's actually a really beautiful gift. It can definitely be taken too far, and we'll probably get into that later. And I feel like I was thinking last night, I'm like, I need to be like making a mental note of all of the things that I'm saying that, like, we'll get into that later. We'll get into that later, because I feel like it's a lot. I've said that a lot already, and it's just the second episode. So it's going to be great. It's fine though. What needs to be shared will be shared. Anyways, so so then I was able to have that like conversation with him where I was like, I'm not trying to like confuse you, or I'm not trying to be indecisive. I'm actually just wanting to make sure that they're comfortable as well, and that's not a bad thing. And so like just little things like that where I was able to realize like, oh, this actually isn't like a problem. Like the way that I do this isn't a problem. It's just different, or like maybe it's perceived the wrong way, but it's actually a really beautiful gift. I'm trying to think of other examples. I guess just like I shared, like I am more, as far as this energy type that I learned about at that time. I kind of have different opinions and different views of it now, but I was more like I am, I guess, still considered more of like a detail gatherer, and I don't necessarily like love to then do. And like I said, I most of my sisters were like doers. I would say like they would, like, when we'd all get together, it was like, okay, what are we gonna do, what are we gonna, like, they'd be like, all right, let's go do this. And I remember like sometimes feeling panicked because it was like, wait, but I don't have all of the details for that experience yet, and like I need time to like process and like decide if that's like what I really want to do. And like and they were just like, come on, are you coming, or what, like, what's going on? And like I was just kind of like, oh, but wait, I need to process that, or like I need more details, or like, you know. And again, and like sometimes they would get frustrated with me, or I don't think they ever really got frustrated with me actually, but I always felt like something was wrong with me because I couldn't just act on like, let's just go. At the time anyways, like I said, things have changed since then. But so little things like that where I was able to just be like, oh, like really just start to become aware of who I was, I think I would say is like a big part of it, instead of just like, you know, just being me. I kind of started like taking this backseat approach to who I was, or not approach, but like this backseat view where I, instead of just like being and doing what I was doing, I kind of was like taking a step back and being like, oh, like that's interesting that I do it that way. I wonder if it's because of this, or, you know, just like I didn't actually realize this until now that I'm talking to you about it, but like I started to kind of just become curious about who I was, instead of like maybe judgmental, or just, you know, staying with these beliefs that I had about myself my whole life. I kind of started to be like, oh, well, actually, maybe that's not really what that looks like. Or maybe, you know, am I making sense? I hope I'm making sense. So all of that then led me to realize like, oh, like I said, like I actually have some really great I actually have some really great qualities. I'm actually really kind of a cool person. Like I actually kind of have a place in this life. Like maybe it's okay that I'm not like a big action taker, because I can gather the details and then pass those details on to someone else who can then take action. Like maybe I don't have to do it all. Maybe I can have, you know, strengths that then serve other people, and maybe I actually play a really valuable role in my life, exactly who I am. And like maybe all of these things that like I've been learning my whole life about, that like I was created with a purpose for a reason. Like it's not just like I don't know. I guess I just used to think of it as like, oh yeah, the purpose is to like further God's kingdom and like help the world be great, you know, but it was like, well, actually, I think there's a lot more to it. Like, I think there's purpose for me to, like, and for you, like, you are who you are for such great, amazing purposes. Hold on, I have a child calling my name outside the door. 1 second. Okay, I don't even remember what I was saying, but the point is, you were put where you are, how you are, for reasons greater than you can even imagine. Like, I don't know how else to say it to like help you realize that like you weren't put on this earth or created, or you know, maybe you don't believe in God or whatever, but like you aren't who you are so that you can try to become someone else, so that you can change. Like, well, that's not entirely true. You are supposed to become, I believe you are supposed to become the best version of yourself, but that doesn't mean becoming someone who is not you. That doesn't mean trying to do things like someone else does it because they think their way is the right way, and so you've adopted that belief as well. Like, you your family needs your voice, needs your habits, needs your thoughts, needs your flavor of life. Like, that's really the best way that I can feel like explain it, is just like your flavor. They need you, and they need you to stop hiding who you are, and to be stop being afraid to be you and to be the real you. Like, oh my gosh, like, and I'm no way in shape or form perfect at this. Like, there's still big parts of me that I like struggle sharing, and I'm hoping that this podcast is going to be kind of where I do that, where I share maybe those scary parts of me. I don't know why this feels like a safe space. Thank you for making it a safe space. But like, so let's do it together. Like, let's together just step out of the fear of being who you are, and of the fear of being judged for who you are. You're going to be like, here's the truth. You're going to be judged either way. Like, no matter what you do, there's going to be people judging you for how you do what you do. Period. The end. Like, that's just, unless you live like in a saint society where, you know, everyone is like angels, like, there's going to be people judging you. But that's actually not a problem. Like, why do we feel like judgment is like that? If someone thinks that I'm, you know, doing something weird, then that means like I'm a bad person, or that means that there's like something wrong. Like, that just means that they have a thought about you. It could not be even true, but they chose to think it. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't have anything to do with you. So like, just stop worrying what everyone else thinks about you. Start noticing who you really are. Start noticing the gifts that you have. Accept the gifts that you have. Like, why do we feel like we have to be like, oh yeah, like I'm a pretty good listener, I guess, but like, you know, it's not like that big of a deal. No, if you're a good listener, share that gift. If you're a good baker, share that gift. Like, whatever your gift is, if you are compassionate, share that gift. Like, don't take it to extreme. Don't then become a people pleaser. We'll get that into another conversation. But just start letting yourself be you without judgment from you. Most of all, stop beating yourself up for doing things the way that you do. Stop like tormenting yourself over not doing things the way that you think you should be doing. Oh my gosh, like, if I could go back, that would probably be the biggest thing that I would try to like help myself see, is like yeah, you made a mistake, but like, it's okay. That doesn't mean that you're a terrible person. It doesn't mean that like your life is ruined, or that you've ruined the life of whoever you've offended or whatever. Like, it's okay. It's okay that you make mistakes. It's okay that you aren't perfect. It's okay. It's okay to just be you. It's okay. And in fact, it's what you're meant to do. You're not meant to, like I've shared, I feel like I'm just saying the thing over and over and over again, but I'm just trying to like make it make sense in your brain. You're not meant to come and try to change to become someone else. You are meant to become you to the fullest version, the most authentic and true and real version of you. And that is like that you is whole and perfect and beautiful, perfect in the most imperfect way. Like your imperfections are what makes you beautiful. I need to find this quote, but and I haven't been able to find it for a while, but and I wasn't even planning on sharing it, but it's a quote about Michelangelo, or like from Michelangelo, and he shared that, oh gosh, should I try to find my notes? Hang on, I'm going to try to find my notes from, nope, I'm not going to be able to find them. I've already looked. Okay, so I heard this quote first when I was like in a seminar or whatever, and I know I took some notes, but I know I've already looked for them and I can't find them. So anyways, the quote is like that, you know, they asked Michelangelo when he sculpted the statue of David, and like, you know, I really don't know like the history behind the statue of David. I'm assuming it's like a really amazing statue. Like I should probably look that up. But they asked him like, you know, how he did it or whatever. And he was like, all I did, and I'm totally paraphrasing here, the actual quote is way more beautiful. But he was like, all I did were cut off the pieces that weren't David. Like I took the rock and like I knew that David was inside of it. Like, and I just started shaving away and cutting off the pieces that weren't him. And I feel like that is the most beautiful description for you becoming you and allowing yourself to be you and trusting who you are. It's that like I, in my core, am an amazing, beautiful, worthy, I keep wanting to say perfect, but it's not perfect. You're not supposed to be perfect right now. You're supposed to strive to become perfect, but you're not expected to be that right now. But we have, you know, through life, we bring on these, most of them, I believe, are just honestly like thoughts that we learn along the way about ourselves that, oh, you know, actually I'm judgmental, or you know, indecisive, or I'm fat even, or I can't do this, or I'm not good enough because of this, or I don't know how to do this, and so that means this. Like we come up with all of these stories and these meanings about these things about ourselves, that when you kind of stop and you start to kind of get curious about those, you realize like that's actually not even true. And so I'm gonna stop because I'm definitely rambling by this point. But I just want you, like, just know, like, if you don't believe it in yourself, trust me that you are freaking amazing right here, right now. Even when you're having these thoughts where you're like, well, yeah, but she doesn't know about this, or yeah, but what about this? Yeah, but that, no, shush. Like, shut up. Just listen to me when I am telling you, you are amazing, period, the end. Okay, that is my message for you today. Please just start practicing shutting up that inner voice, that inner critic that is constantly telling you that you're not enough, and start allowing yourself to be confident in who you are and doing it bravely and unapologetically, and just trust that all of these pieces of who you are exactly who you're supposed to be, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I can't wait for the next episode. I hope again that you are fabulous, and I love you, and I will talk to you soon.